Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth, and I am back doing an Oracle Daphne tag, which is like a long time in the making, I feel. Just so you guys can get to know me a little bit and feel like more comfortable with who you're talking to, especially when you request private readings, so kind of understand like who I am and what I'm about, and that I'm a real person. And yeah, I just wanted to do this little video for you guys. So there's like two parts to the video. Like there's the first part, which is gonna be like basically about, more about me, fun facts and figures. And then the second part is gonna be a question and answer from, these questions are taken from Vanity Fair, okay? I think in that December of 2015 edition, but I think that the questions are pretty standard for Vanity Fair, Q&A for celebrities. So I really just like Vanity Fair magazine. I really like these question and answer sections that they do in their magazine. So I was just inspired, and I was like, well, I'm going to answer the questions. Now, I did type out my answers, so if I'm looking over, that's why, because I wanted to really think through my answers before I did this video. And so you guys could kind of get to know me at like a deeper level. But they're my answers. It's just I'm using Vanity Fair's questions, okay? Definitely, put in the comment section below if you have any specific questions that you want me to include for like another question and answer video. I'm happy to make another one. I mean, they don't take that long, and they're really fun. So yeah, definitely. Now, please, bear in mind, private questions, personal questions, this is not the time for that. Obviously, this is really more about getting to know me and, as a psychic, as a person. So, just kind of hold off on those private questions. I'm happy to do a private reading for you anytime. Just let me know. I do have a calendar and a website. So yeah, let's just get started. The first thing I want to talk about is, a little bit, the most important thing I think is that my name isn't Oracle Daphne. My name is Elizabeth Olsen. Everybody calls me Beth. I was not born with the name Oracle Daphne. Oracle Daphne is just the name of my business, and I do refer to myself as the Oracle, as Oracle Daphne, but Daphne is not my given name at all. So it's kind of just like an alias. You could call it an alias. I was born and raised in Connecticut. I have an older brother and a younger brother. And the question, I think what's most important is love is the most important thing. Love is everything to me. And you learn about like how important love is when you kind of go through loss, when you go through any kind of breakup or divorce, or if you get hurt by someone, but also when the universe kind of takes away the material stuff and you do realize what you have at the end of the day. And for me, at the end of the day, love is the most important thing. So yeah. And my favorite song is, and I have a lot, but at the moment, my favorite two, I'm going to say two. The first is Feeling Good. And the second one, and that's by, I can't say it, Avicii. And the second one is If I Were a Boy by Beyonce. My vice is Ben & Jerry's Half-Baked Froyo. Totally in love with that stuff. I can't get enough of that stuff. It's like once a month I just have to go and get it. I try not to, but every now and then, I splurge. I go to Safeway and I tell them not to judge me, and I'm there at like just before closing, and they laugh. And I do actually really like. I just tried the Ben & Jerry's dairy-free almond milk chocolate fudge ice cream. That stuff's the bomb. So good. Okay, what else? Things that I love. Art, music, food, baking, cooking, photography, travel, horses, dogs, animals in general, clothes, shopping, going out to eat, exploring new places, Thai food, drawing, painting, writing, reading, I love books, rollerblading, swimming, walking, running, sleeping. I get very busy. I'm never bored. I love comfy blankets, my bed, Hollister sweatshirts, as you probably have noticed, leggings, mini Tonka boots, cliff jumping, hiking, gardening, flowers, and nature. I'm also into natural medicine, also very strongly into natural medicine. And I love doing tarot readings. Last but not least, right? And astrology, of course. Something that you may not know about me is this will be my 20th move. I'm recording this just before I move, so I will have moved 20 times by the end of the month. This is something you don't know. Also, I am a domestic violence survivor too. And my favorite weekend activities are making pancakes, going food shopping, and petting the horses across the street. Although, to me, petting the horses across the street is a daily activity, so I made a little section for daily activities. Petting the horses across the street, doing yoga, making a smoothie, and going to the park. I really love the ocean, river. I'm attracted to water very much. My biggest passion is what I do for a living. Healing people, private readings. Second to that would be living a healthy lifestyle, researching herbs and natural remedies, and natural medicine. Eventually I'm going to have my own little greenhouse where I'm going to do research, and I'm going to get plants and seeds and all that kind of stuff and grow things. And that's what I'm just into that. As far as travel, I think the idea for me is going to a warm tropical place, but then coming home is even better. So I did this personality test, and it said she likes to stay in, but she likes to go out. So I like both. I'm not just a homebody. I do like to go out. I like to explore. I like to travel. I've moved a lot, so obviously traveling is not as high on the priority list right now, but eventually I'd like to go to the Bahamas. I'd love to go to Italy, England, Greece, Hawaii. These are all Ireland. These are all places that I'd love to go to. And some of you are going, well, England's not a warm tropical place. But I want to go shopping in London. So it's the idea where you go away someplace and you come home and you've got clean sheets and it feels like home and it feels good and everything's sort of stable and settled. That's kind of what I like too. And so that's the end of my question and answer. Let's move on to the questions from Vanity Fair. The first question is, what is your idea of perfect happiness? And my answer is really, I wrote, it really should be about what I used to think perfect happiness was. Because I think as we grow and change, our idea of perfect happiness really changes as we grow. To me, maybe it was in the past more fantastical, more dreamlike, and more of the fairy tale. It was at that time it was more about finding what I call the rancher dude, my soulmate, and having true love and having a relationship. But now perfect happiness is it's less about me, less personal, and it's more about the global happiness. So I'd like everyone to have true love. I'd like everyone to have a partner. I'd love everyone if everyone could stress less and love more. I mean, that's to me ideal. This is also finding peace within the human experience, which is a really tough task as a human, because I feel like it's very hard to merge this spiritual experience that we're going through as well as our animal body and then leave with nothing. So it's very challenging. I think if we got to a place where we could kind of come to terms with that better, then I think that's the ideal situation. The next question was, what is your greatest fear? And my answer is, I don't know if you guys have watched the Divergent series or read any of the Divergent books, but there's a character, his name is Four, he's one of the main characters. You guys are going to know who I'm talking about, definitely, if you're watching this. And he doesn't have a lot of fears. I'm someone who doesn't really have a lot of fears. I don't live in that fear space, okay? My mind really doesn't have boundaries. My mind's like a creative artist. By the way, I got my bachelor's of fine arts in Chicago. I went to school at the Art Institute of Chicago, the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. So that's where I went to school. I have a bachelor's in art, something else you might not know about me. I wanted to put that in there just so you guys are wondering, like, who is this person? Yeah, so like going back to the fear, it's only when something happens to me does it really, it's really negative. Like when it's really negative that I experience fear. It doesn't really happen much, but when it does, I go a little crazy for several days, and I kind of lock down, and I don't leave my room, and I get really freaked out. But it takes a lot for that to happen. I do fear my nightmares coming true and physical violence. It's more like physical threats, but really I'm kind of past that because I've already experienced it, and so I've mastered it, so I don't really think the universe is going to send it to me again. This is something that I don't really need to go through, but I've been through it before, and it does, in the back of my mind, scare me a little bit. Your guys are going to laugh. For a long time, my biggest fear was getting married to the love of my life, him cheating on me, getting a divorce, after having kids, and then him turning into a transvestite. And that's like the total Kris Jenner experience, and I feel really bad for her. Like really bad for her, because that was like my nightmare for so long. And then I moved past that to being really terrified of shitting my pants. And it's okay to laugh. I told my shrink that, this is my main fear. Like, and that was my main fear. Like, I'm over that. It's funny because I've kind of calmed down since then, and now my main fear is really about the future. It's more about like my future children getting hurt by an act of terrorism, which is actually interesting because because of this year, what's happened this year, all this acts of terrorism stuff and what's gone on in the media, and maybe that's just affecting me in that way, where it's just like in the back of my mind, it's like something that we're all kind of dealing with, and it's in the collective unconscious. I'm not sure, but it's just something that is very relevant to like 2016. And like new parents, and I think everybody is kind of fearing that a little bit. But it's interesting because it's less about me and it's more about them. It says, what is the trait you most deplore in yourself? And right now I'm in a place where I can finally look in the mirror, and I'm really trying to love myself, and I'm starting to see someone beautiful. Like, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm actually seeing like big childlike eyes full of life and full of love and everything that I have to offer, and loving side of me. And it's hard for me because it's hard to even talk about getting emotional. It's just like I'm in a loving myself phase rather than deploring myself. And it's been really hard for me to get to this point, because I used to like look in the mirror and see myself as this, and I pick apart my face and pick apart like the way I looked, and loving yourself is a challenging task, which we all kind of have to do at some point, but it's very daunting nonetheless. But I am very hard on myself though sometimes for not being like where I think I should be, for not accomplishing more, or I get upset on my birthdays because I look back and I think like I really haven't changed. I haven't done what I set out to do. I haven't accomplished anything, and of course I'm single, so it's like I always add that in there. I'm like, well, you're still single, you haven't tried hard enough to find someone and all that stuff. And but like I started a time capsule last year, and it really helps me recognize and see, okay, gosh, I really have done a lot, and I really have done more than I actually ever dreamed that I would, and I'm very proud of that for myself. So the next question is, which words or phrases do you most overuse? And my answer is, I kind of rotate through swear words. Right now, I'm saying the word dumb a lot, so I'll say, that's so dumb. I've been saying that. I always say that. In the past, and still recently I do this, in the past, I was calling everyone a dick, or everything a dick. So it was like, if I dropped a spoon on the floor in the kitchen, I'd be like, you dick. That's what I'd say. But it's always sort of changing for me. The next question is, what is your greatest regret? And my answer is I don't have many. You're going to find this funny. Not kissing certain guys on dates, which I probably should have, or not sleeping with more people. Definitely I should have slept with more people in high school. I spent a lot of time hovering around, second and third base when I was younger. And, but, seriously, I think my biggest regret is not leaving or ending a relationship at a time when I knew it was over, when I should have, or just basically when I should have. And this happened several times. I get attached, and I get hopeful, like we all do, and I think sometimes it's hard to let go, and to realize that it's for the best to let go. That's like my biggest regret, I think. Who is the greatest love of your life? And right now, I haven't experienced that yet, so I really can't say. I'm still, waiting for things to happen with the rancher dude and to see what kind of goes forward. What is your current state of mind? My answer is it changes daily, minute to minute, hour to hour. I'm a woman. I'm female. I got hormones. People forget, sometimes, people, and I have regretted, going back to the regret, I have regretted going off on people in the past because I lose my temper, and, I'm just a person like everybody else. So I have moods, and I have a temper, and I have moments where I get really frustrated about things, and I say things I don't mean, and I, kind of fly off the handle a little bit, but and I feel like I'm doing better at that. It's like a struggle, but I go through these phases where in my head, where it's just like, where things, maybe I have a bad day, and in my head it's like my mindset, it's like fuck everyone, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this fucking shit, fuck you, fuck the universe, And my worst time was when I lived in Virginia, and I'd drive home from work, and the finger would be out the window. Fuck you, everyone! in the traffic, bumper to bumper traffic for like 2 hours. I'd be like, oh my god, just kill me now. But I do calm down, and after I calm down, it's like, I get back into that place of trust that everything's okay, everything's gonna work out. I'm okay, you're okay, that kind of thing. But it does change. So, the next question is, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? And I'd like to be 100% healthy. I'd like to have healthy hormones, amazing clear skin, and no food allergies. I'd like to be able to eat everything and anything I want without having to think about it too much. What do you consider your greatest achievement? Thinking about this question now, like I answered a certain way, but I also think I had a show when I graduated college with 2 paintings that I had painted tirelessly, and I sold them. But having that show was like this, to me, a mark of achievement for myself, and in graduating school and getting my bachelor's, it was a huge achievement for me personally. So like even if like I never got into like another gallery or never did anything else with my artwork, I still feel proud of myself for having had that show, having accomplished that, and it made me feel really good to do that. But I also think I wrote moving across the country more than once and learning from those trying times. It was very challenging. I went through a lot of challenges. Just, even getting here was a challenge. But also completing my karma, essentially. That to me is my greatest achievement. Like on a soul level, that to me is a huge accomplishment. What do you regard as the lowest depth of misery? And my answer is being in jail, locked in. It's the worst, most miserable feeling in the whole world, basically. And the next question is, what is your most marked characteristic? Usually people find me very easy to talk to and funny. Everybody kind of thinks of me as a best friend. The next question is, what is the quality you most like in a man? And it's funny because thinking back on this question, it used to be about loyalty and trust and honesty, and it still is. It's still like very important. Like I at one point was gonna get this giant tattoo on my back, like in italic, print. That basically like a loyalty, saying a giant loyalty tattoo. But now I feel like a few years has gone by and I'm older, and I think, to me, it's really about generosity and people in general. People having a generous spirit. When a man has a generous spirit, it's like, because men function from the ego, and when they're giving, they feel loved because they feel like it's appreciated in some way. So in a sense, if a man is generous, that means he loves himself. That means he loves you, but he also loves himself. And that's important, that's crucial. But also, someone who's loving, like, so maybe my tattoo, instead of saying loyalty, should be loving and kind, you know? That's the most important thing, I think. The most important quality that I would like in a man. It says, what is the quality you most like in a woman? I wrote full transparency and understanding. I think women have a tendency to, there's a lot of backbiting, backstabbing, treachery kind of thing, where women don't help each other enough. And even in friendships, there's not enough transparency about what you want as a friend, or what you want in relationships, or what you want in the world. And with women, if women can clarify what it is they want, they're going to get so much farther, because then they can manifest it. But right now, we're at a place where women are like needing to really break out of the shell and actually come into their own and say, okay, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and be authentic, and do it without having to ruin somebody else's career or hurt anybody in order to get to that place. I could name a few people, but I'm not going to, as examples of what I mean. I think it's empowerment when somebody is authentic and can own stuff and be like, okay, this is who I am, this is what I want, and I've gotten here because I've been transparent. And it's hard to be transparent in our society because everybody's picking each other apart. We're constantly on social media and we're constantly like out and about, and so it's very important, I think, for people to be transparent and recognize that there's some vulnerability in that. There's some vulnerability. People are putting themselves out there, and to be understanding of that, because I don't think that people really are. Like, it's sort of just like everybody's kind of constantly walking on eggshells. That's kind of how I see it. So let's see, what else? What is it that you most dislike in the world? And I'm not sure if that question was actually in Vanity Fair. It might have been. I might have added that one. Or I might have changed the question, but I think my answer was greed. So many people could do more for each other and more for the planet. If they could really just see past their own nose and their own needs and their own wants and be more giving. And it's not even about like, donating to charity or helping the ocean or saving the rainforest. To me, it goes way beyond that. It's not just like about that. So I want to clarify here, because I think people could take it the wrong way. And what I mean by that is going back to the generosity thing. Generosity of spirit is the opposite of greed. When somebody has a generous spirit, they're thinking about what to do for others. They want to be giving. They want to be helpful. They want to be kind. They want to do something for someone else. And I think it's very suspect in our society. People suspect somebody from being nice, for being generous, for being the opposite of greedy. We almost don't even know what to do in our society. Like, if somebody hands you something, you're like, I don't know if you should, you're like, no thanks. There's people that are like, no thanks. And it's interesting. There's a deflection, I think, of this, because in our society, greed is so prevalent. So it's really about that person that wants to do more, and that wants to be, like I said, helpful and kind and generous and open, and more giving. And it's not just about the money, and it's not just about, donating to something or writing something off. To me, it's sort of like an attitude and a mindset. Like even like I see this in my readings all the time where people may be willing to give someone $100, but are they willing to really be generous with their time or generous, or are they really thinking about helping that person? Do they really want to? Is it in their heart to help them? It's easy to write the check. It's harder, I think, in our society to really care. And that's where I'm coming from with that. The next question is kind of an odd question. It says, how would you like to die? My answer is, we don't really get a choice how we die on earth, like at least not consciously. I mean, ultimately, I believe that every day, every night when we go to sleep, we connect to source and we choose whether to live or die. That's why people die in their sleep all the time. But it's, to me, ultimately, to answer the question, I'd rather die peacefully than violently, if I had the choice, if I had the conscious choice. And in general, I really live like I'm dying. So I kind of, and death is one of those things that I sort of face daily. It's just part of, like, in my DNA, I guess, where like I consciously think about it, like on a regular daily basis. And it's not just like my soul thinking about, I think about it. So, and why do I think about it so much? Because I think, again, it's a human experience. I feel like I'm really in touch with the human experience. I'm really in touch with my human experience. And sometimes my human experience sucks. And sometimes my human experience is great. So I think about it. It's just one of those things. I think about it. Plus in what I do with readings and stuff, I mean, I do connect to deceased loved ones a lot, and I do think about deceased loved ones a lot. So there's just a lot of reasons why, but that's like the main one. And then the last question is, what is your motto? And my answer is, there are no mistakes in life. There's just setbacks. That's, the main thing. So I think that's all of the things that I had written down, and the only things that I really wanted to mention, or really put out there. So feel free to, like I said, in the comment section, let me know what you guys think. Definitely ask me questions if you have other questions, more about getting to know me. I am going to do a separate one about my services and more about my business, but I just want to say that this to me is it's really more about getting to know me, and it's more fun questions and things like that. Thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, Google Plusing, subscribing, and I will be back again with more videos. I send you guys big hugs, big kisses, and I will talk to you guys again soon. All right, take care. All the best. Bye.